Let me be real with you today. Not polite, not comfortable, real. You don't miss your goals because you're unlucky. You don't miss your goals because you're not talented. You don't miss your goals because the world is against you. The real reason you're not reaching your goals is because you haven't decided that your goals are non-negotiable. Everybody wants success, but very few people want the lifestyle that comes with it. Everybody loves the results, but they run from the process. And today we're exposing the truth because growth only starts when excuses die. Let me tell you the truth most people don't want to hear. You are not stuck because life is unfair. You are not behind because you lack talent, intelligence, or opportunity. You are behind because comfort has become your master. You have learned how to survive instead of learning how to transform. You say you want change, but your daily decisions prove that you love familiarity more than growth. And until that changes, your goals will always stay out of reach. Comfort is sneaky. It doesn't show up looking dangerous. It shows up looking reasonable. It whispers, you deserve a break. It tells you, you've done enough for today. It convinces you that tomorrow will be a better time to start. Comfort doesn't attack your dreams directly. It slowly puts them to sleep. And the worst part is, while you're comfortable, you feel safe. You feel calm. You feel okay. Well, okay is the enemy of greatness. Okay keeps you average. Okay keeps you stuck. Okay keeps you explaining instead of achieving. You keep saying you want more, but you keep choosing what feels good right now. You choose sleep over discipline. You choose ease over effort. You choose entertainment over execution. And then you wonder why your life isn't changing. The truth is simple. Every time you choose comfort, you vote against your future. Every time you avoid discomfort, you delay your destiny. Let me be clear. Growth does not live in comfort. Growth lives in pressure. Growth lives in early mornings when your body says no, but your purpose says yes. Growth lives in lonely nights when nobody's clapping for you, when nobody knows what you're building, when all you have is belief and discipline. Growth lives in doing what's hard now so you don't have to suffer later. Comfort feels good in the moment, but it charges interest. And one day it collects. You say you want a better life, but you keep protecting your comfort zone like it's sacred. You defend your habits. You justify your excuses. You explain why you can't do what needs to be done. And every explanation sounds logical. That's the danger. Comfort always sounds logical. It never sounds lazy. It sounds tired. It sounds stressed. It sounds like start after this phase. But life doesn't wait for phases to pass. Life rewards action, not intention. Understand this. Your comfort zone is perfectly designed to keep you exactly where you are. It will never challenge you. It will never stretch you. It will never demand more from you. And that's why so many people spend their entire lives dreaming instead of becoming. They mistake comfort for peace, but real peace comes from progress. Real peace comes from knowing you're doing the work, even when it hurts. You can't say you want success and avoid sacrifice at the same time. Those two things do not coexist. Success demands discomfort. It demands that you say no to things other people say yes to. It demands that you show up when you don't feel like it. It demands that you push past the version of yourself that wants to quit. And that version of you is loud. That version of you is convincing. That version of you has reasons, stories, and excuses, but it does not have results. Every level of your life requires a new level of discomfort. What got you here will not get you there. The habits that made you comfortable will not make you successful. At some point, you have to stop asking, how can I stay comfortable? And start asking, how can I grow? Because comfort asks nothing of you, but growth demands everything. Look at your daily routine. Be honest, not emotional, honest. How much of your day is spent moving toward your goals? And how much is spent escaping reality? How much time is invested and how much is wasted? Comfort loves distraction. It loves scrolling. It loves entertainment. It loves noise. Because noise keeps you from hearing the truth that you're capable of more, but unwilling to be uncomfortable. You don't need more time. You don't need more resources. You need more courage to be uncomfortable. The courage to wake up earlier. The courage to work longer. The courage to say no to people who don't understand your vision. The courage to fail publicly. The courage to look stupid while learning. The courage to sacrifice temporary pleasure for long-term fulfillment. Most people wait until life forces them to change. until the pain becomes unbearable, until the bills pile up, until regret gets heavy, until opportunity passes them by. But disciplined people choose discomfort early. They don't wait for pressure. They apply it themselves. They don't wait for motivation. They move with commitment. They don't wait for permission. They take responsibility. You have to understand this. Comfort will never tell you to chase your potential. Comfort will never push you to your limits. Comfort will never ask you who you could become. Comfort only asks one question: how can I keep things the same? And if you keep answering that question, your future will look exactly like your past. You keep saying you're tired, but you're not tired of working. You're tired of working without seeing results. And that happens when effort is inconsistent. Comfort loves inconsistency. Comfort lets you work when you feel like it. Comfort lets you quit when it gets hard. Comfort lets you start strong and finish weak. Discipline, on the other hand, doesn't care how you feel. Discipline cares about who you're becoming. Let me say this clearly. The life you want is on the other side of the discomfort you're avoiding. The confidence you want is on the other side of the fear you keep running from. The strength you want is on the other side of the struggle you keep escaping. There is no shortcut around discomfort. You either choose it now with intention, or life will choose it for you through pain. You can stay comfortable and complain, or you can get uncomfortable and change. You cannot do both. Complaining is easy, sacrifice is hard, but complaining keeps you the same, and sacrifice transforms you. Every excuse you make is a reminder comfort is winning. Every action you take despite discomfort is proof that growth is taking over. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting to feel ready. Readiness is a lie. Comfort tells you to keep you still. You become ready by moving. You become strong by struggling. You become confident by doing hard things repeatedly. Comfort delays all of that. Growth accelerates it. You were not created to live a soft life with a hard regret. You were created to live a hard discipline with a soft landing. The pain of discipline is temporary. The pain of regret lasts forever. And one day when you look back at your life, you will either thank yourself for choosing discomfort or you will wish you had. Comfort will keep you entertained, but it will never fulfill you. Fulfillment comes from knowing you gave everything you had. From knowing you didn't quit when it got hard. From knowing you chose growth over ease, purpose over pleasure, discipline over delay. If you truly want your goals, you have to be willing to feel uncomfortable longer than everyone else. You have to be willing to work when others rest. You have to be willing to struggle when others escape. You have to be willing to sacrifice what feels good now for what will feel great later. So ask yourself, honestly, are you willing to be uncomfortable long enough to change your life? Because until comfort stops being your priority, your goals will remain a conversation instead of a reality. Let me tell you where most people get it wrong. They think motivation is key. They think if they just feel inspired enough, energized enough, hyped enough, then everything will change. They wake up looking for a feeling instead of building a system. They chase emotions instead of committing their habits. And that right there is why they keep starting and stopping, getting excited and then disappearing, feeling powerful one day and powerless the next. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is intentional. Motivation depends on how you feel. Discipline depends on who you decide to be. And if your progress is tied to your feelings, your results will always be unstable. Feelings change. Mood changes. Mood changes. Life hits you. Pressure shows up. And when motivation leaves, and it always leaves, most people stop moving. You don't have a goal problem. You have a discipline problem. You don't lack desire. You lack consistency. You want the results, but you don't want the daily requirements. You love the idea of success, but you resist the routine that creates it. And until discipline replaces motivation as your foundation, your goals will always feel close, but remain out of reach. Motivation feels good. Discipline feels demanding. Motivation is loud and exciting. Discipline is quiet and repetitive. Motivation makes promises. Discipline keeps them. Motivation gets applause. Discipline gets results. And the reason people prefer motivation is because it doesn't require responsibility. You can blame motivation when you fail. You can say, I just wasn't feeling it. Discipline doesn't give you that excuse. Discipline exposes the truth. Either you did the work or you did. Most people only work hard when they feel inspired. That's why their effort is inconsistent. One day, they're locked in, focused, unstoppable. The next day, they're tired, distracted, overwhelmed. And because they never train themselves to work without motivation, they quit the moment it stops feeling good. They don't realize that real growth happens on the days you don't feel like it. It's showing up when your emotions vote no. Discipline is doing the work when nobody is watching. Discipline is sticking to the plan when the results are slow. Discipline is boring, and that's why it works. Success is built in boredom. It's built in repetition. It's built in doing the same right things over and over again long after the excitement is gone. You keep waiting for motivation to return, but discipline doesn't wait. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel. Discipline asks what needs to be done. And when discipline becomes your identity, progress becomes inevitable. You stop negotiating, you stop delaying, you stop depending on external energy. You move because it's who you are, not because it's how you feel. Think about this. If motivation was enough, everyone who watched a motivational video would be successful. If inspiration was enough, nobody would quit the gym after January. If hype was enough, dreams would be everywhere. But motivation fades. Life doesn't slow down just because you're tired. Bills don't wait. Time doesn't pause. Opportunities don't hold your hand. Only discipline survives pressure. You don't need to feel confident to act. Confidence comes after action, not before it. You don't need to feel ready to start. Readiness is built through repetition. You don't need to feel strong to show up. Strength is developed by showing up weak and refusing to quit. Discipline teaches you to move first and let the feelings catch up later. Most people want discipline level results with motivation level effort. They want consistency without commitment. They want progress without sacrifice. They want transformation without structure. But discipline is structure. Discipline is boundaries. Discipline is saying no to things that feel good so you can say yes to what truly matters. When you rely on motivation, you live reactively. You respond to emotion. You wait for energy. You follow your mood. When you rely on discipline, you live proactively. You decide in advance. You commit before the struggle. You build systems that don't depend on how you feel. That's why disciplined people keep winning even when life gets heavy. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is self-respect. It's you saying my future matters more than my excuses. It's you choosing long-term fulfillment over short-term pleasure. It's you proving to yourself that you can be trusted. And when you trust yourself, confidence grows. When confidence grows, action increases. When action increases, results follow. You keep telling yourself you'll get serious when you feel motivated again. But what if motivation never comes back the way it used to? What if the season you're in requires discipline, not excitement? What if this phase of your life isn't about feeling good, but about becoming strong? Discipline is built in the dark. It's built when nobody is cheering. It's built when progress is slow. It's built when you're tired of starting over. Every time you choose discipline over emotion, you rewire your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries and start seeing yourself as someone who finishes. Motivation makes you start. Discipline makes you stay. Motivation makes you talk. Discipline makes you work. Motivation is temporary. Discipline is permanent. And the people you admire most are not the most motivated. They are the most disciplined. They train themselves to operate without excitement. They learn how to execute even when it hurts. You don't rise to the level of your motivation. You fall to the level of your discipline. When life hits hard, and it will, only discipline keeps you moving. Only discipline keeps you grounded. Only discipline keeps your vision alive when emotions are screaming for comfort. Stop waiting to feel like it. Stop needing to be inspired. Stop chasing motivation like it's the answer. Motivation is a bonus, not a requirement. Discipline is the requirement. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you want to become. You become disciplined by doing disciplined actions daily. Not perfectly, consistently. You don't need extreme effort. You need repeated effort. Small actions done daily beat big actions done occasionally. Discipline is not about intensity. It's about reliability. Every time you act without motivation, you build power. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you strengthen your identity. Every time you choose discipline, you tell your mind that quitting is not an option. And over time, what was once hard becomes normal. What was once uncomfortable becomes familiar. What was once discipline becomes habit. And here's the truth most people miss. Discipline creates motivation. Action creates energy. Progress fuels belief. You don't wait to feel motivated to work. You work until motivation shows up. Movement changes emotion. Stillness feeds doubt. If you want a life that doesn't collapse when motivation disappears, you must train yourself to move anyway. You must become someone who executes regardless of mood. Someone who keeps going when it's boring. Someone who shows up even when nobody is watching. Because at the end of the day, motivation may inspire you, but discipline will save you. Discipline will carry you through the days when nothing feels right. Discipline will hold you steady when emotions lie to you. Discipline will get you to places motivation never could. And the moment you stop depending on motivation and start living by discipline is the moment your goals stop feeling distant and start feeling inevitable. Let me tell you what quietly destroys more dreams than failure ever could. It's not lack of talent. It's not lack of opportunity. It's not even fear. It's negotiation. The habit of bargaining with your goals every time things get uncomfortable. The moment resistance shows up, you start rewriting the rules. You lower the standard. You push the deadline. You soften the commitment. And you convince yourself that you're still serious. Even though your actions say otherwise. You didn't fail. You just renegotiated. You didn't quit. You just postponed. You didn't give up. You just adjusted the goal. And that's how people stay stuck for years while telling themselves they're still on the way. Goals don't need motivation. Goals need obedience. The moment you start negotiating, you tell your mind that your word is flexible. You teach yourself that commitment is optional. And once your mind learns that quitting is allowed, it will look for every excuse to escape discomfort. You say, I'll start tomorrow. It's a negotiation. You say, I'll do it when things slow down. That's a negotiation. You say, I'll go harder next week. That's a negotiation. And every negotiation delays the version of you that your goal requires. The problem is not that you don't want your goals. The problem is that you want comfort at the same time. And comfort always demands compromise. Comfort always asks you to soften your discipline. Your discipline? Comfort always pushes you to delay what matters. Comfort doesn't tell you to quit. It tells you to adjust just enough to stay safe. Every time it gets hard, you ask yourself, can I ease up a little? And little by little, your standard drops. Your urgency fades. Your hunger weakens. Your consistency breaks. And then you wonder why the results stop coming. Let me be clear. Goals do not respect negotiations. Dreams don't care how tired you are. Purpose doesn't pause because you're uncomfortable. Success does not respond to intentions. It responds to execution. And execution requires a fixed standard, not a flexible one. When you negotiate with your goals, you put yourself in control instead of the goal in control. You decide when to show up. You decide how much effort is enough. You decide when to stop pushing. And the problem with that is simple. You will always choose the option that hurts less in the moment. That's why discipline is not emotional. It's contractual. You make a decision in advance, before the pain, before the resistance, before the excuses show up. You decide who you're going to be when things get hard. Because if you wait until the moment arrives, comfort will always win the argument. Most people don't fail suddenly. They fail slowly. One negotiation at a time. One skip day. One softened rule. One exception that becomes a habit. And before they realize it, the goal that once felt urgent now feels distant. Not because it moved, but because they did. You can't negotiate with something that requires transformation. Your goals are not asking for partial effort. They're asking for full commitment. They're asking for consistency when it's boring. They're asking for discipline when it's inconvenient. They're asking you to show up even when you don't feel like the person who can win yet. And here's the truth. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your standard. If your standards change based on your feelings, your results will always be unstable. Negotiation sounds reasonable. That's why it's dangerous. It doesn't sound like quitting. It sounds like being flexible. It sounds like being realistic. It sounds like being patient. But in reality, it's avoidance dressed up as logic. You tell yourself, I'll just take today off. But today off becomes tomorrow off. Tomorrow off becomes next week. And next week becomes next year. And then you start asking why time passed so fast and nothing changed. People who win don't negotiate with their goals. They align with them. They don't ask, do I feel like it? They ask, what does this goal require today? And then they do that regardless of mood. The moment you stop negotiating is the moment your power returns. Because negotiation creates doubt, and doubt creates delay. Commitment creates clarity. When the decision is already made, there's nothing to debate. Think about it. When something is non-negotiable, you don't waste energy arguing with yourself. You don't overthink. You don't hesitate. You just do it. And that's how momentum is built. But when everything is negotiable, every action becomes a debate. You spend more time thinking about whether to act than actually acting. You drain your mental energy before you even start. And eventually, exhaustion becomes your excuse. Your goals are not asking for perfection. They're asking for loyalty. Loyalty means you don't abandon the mission when it stops being exciting. Loyalty means you don't change the rules when the work gets hard. Loyalty means you honor the commitment you made, even when nobody is watching. Every time you renegotiate, you weaken your self-trust. You teach yourself that your promises don't mean much. And when you don't trust yourself, confidence disappears. When confidence disappears, action slows down. And when action slows down, results stop. This is why so many people feel frustrated with themselves. It's not because they can't do it. It's because they know they keep letting themselves off the hook. They know they're capable of more, but they keep choosing less. And that internal conflict eats away at belief. Let me tell you something powerful. Discipline removes negotiation. Discipline decides once and executes daily. It doesn't argue with feelings. It doesn't check the mood. It doesn't wait for ideal conditions. Discipline says, this is who I am now, and then acts accordingly. When your goals become non-negotiable, excuses lose their power. You stop asking for permission. You stop explaining. You stop waiting. You move because there's no other option. And here's the part most people don't understand. Once you stop negotiating, the work actually becomes lighter. Not easier, but lighter. Because decision fatigue disappears. You're no longer fighting yourself. You're no longer convincing yourself. You're no longer starting over mentally every day. You don't need to renegotiate your goals. You need to reinforce your standards. Decide what you will do no matter what. Decide what quitting looks like, and then remove it as an option. Decide what your minimum effort is, and never go below it. High performers don't rely on willpower. They rely on rules. Rules remove debate. Rules create consistency, and consistency creates results. Ask yourself honestly, where have you been negotiating? Where have you been adjusting the standard instead of raising your discipline? Where have you been giving yourself too many exits? Because every exit you leave open becomes an escape route when things get hard. You don't need a new goal. You need a stronger commitment to the one you already have. You don't need more inspiration. You need fewer negotiations. You don't need perfect conditions. You need a fixed decision. The life you want requires a version of you that does not bargain with discomfort. A version of you that does not flinch when it's inconvenient. A version of you that does not soften when pressure shows up. Once you decide that your goals are non-negotiable, everything changes. Your focus sharpens. Your actions align. Your excuses lose credibility. And your progress becomes predictable. Because success is not about how badly you want it. It's about how firmly you decide. Let me be honest with you in a way that might sting a little. Because truth is supposed to wake you up, not comfort you. You talk a lot. You dream out loud. You explain your plans. You announce what you're going to do. But when it comes time to move, your actions whisper. And the gap between what you say and what you do is the exact space where your goals are dying. Talking feels productive, but it's not. Talking feels powerful, but it's empty without execution. You can sound successful and still be stuck. You can explain your vision perfectly and still be standing still. Words create the illusion of progress. And that illusion is dangerous because it convinces you that you're moving when you're actually parked. You've told people your goals so many times that your brain thinks you've already accomplished something. You get validation for intention instead of results. You get applause for plans instead of progress. And every time someone says, that's amazing, or you got this, a little bit of urgency dies inside you. Because now the pressure is relieved, but the work hasn't been done. Real growth is quiet. Real progress is invisible at first. Real winners don't need to talk because their actions are speaking every day. They're too busy building to be broadcasting. Too focused on execution to be seeking approval. Too disciplined to be distracted by opinions. You don't need to tell people what you're about to do. You need to show yourself what you're willing to do consistently, because the only voice that matters in the end is your own, and deep down, you know when you're pretending and when you're performing. The reason talking becomes a trap is because it replaces movement. Instead of taking the first step, you explain the whole journey. Instead of practicing, you post. Instead of grinding, you announce, and when it's time to actually work, you feel tired. Not from effort, from talking about effort. Let me tell you something uncomfortable. Your goals don't care about your explanations. They don't care how busy you are. They don't care how passionate you sound. They don't care how hard your life has been. Goals respond to execution, and execution is silent. You say you want it, but how many hours have you put in when nobody was watching? You say you're serious, but how many days did you show up when it was boring, when it was repetitive, when there was no reward? Because consistency is louder than confidence, and effort is louder than excuses. Talking big is easy. Moving big is rare. That's why so many people sound ambitious but live average lives. They confuse expression with execution. They think clarity equals commitment. But clarity without action is just information. And information doesn't change lives. Behavior does. Look at your daily actions, not your daily words. Your calendar tells the truth. Your habits tell the truth. Your routines tell the truth. Not what you say you value, but what you actually give time to. Not what you promise, but what you practice. Every time you talk instead of act, you delay momentum. Momentum doesn't come from thinking. It comes from movement. And the smallest action is more powerful than the loudest intention. 1 hour of focused work beats 10 conversations about working hard. You don't need to convince people. You don't need to explain your process. You don't need to defend your timeline. Silence is not weakness, it's discipline. Silence is focus. Silence is power when it's backed by action. Most people talk because they're unsure. They seek validation. They want reassurance. They want someone to tell them they're on the right path. But winners don't need reassurance. They need results. And results come from work, not words. When you're truly committed, your behavior changes. You don't announce. You adjust. You don't explain, you execute. You don't argue, you apply pressure. And slowly, quietly, your life starts to shift. Talking big can actually make it harder to follow through, because now you create expectations without building capacity. You've added pressure without preparation. And when you don't meet those expectations, you feel embarrassed, discouraged, and tempted to quit. That's why silence protects momentum. It allows you to fail, adjust, learn, and grow without an audience. You don't owe anyone updates. You owe yourself effort. You don't owe anyone explanations. You owe yourself discipline. You don't owe anyone proof. The proof will show up when the results do. Execution requires humility. It requires you to accept that you're not as good yet as you want to be, that you need practice, that you need repetition, that you need time. Talking skips all of that and jumps straight to the image of success. But the image won't save you when it's time to work. The world doesn't reward potential. It rewards performance. It doesn't reward plans. It rewards persistence. It doesn't reward what you meant to do. It rewards what you actually did. You keep telling people you're working hard, but working hard doesn't need an announcement. Hard work shows up in results. It shows up in improvements. It shows up in consistency. If you have to keep saying it, you might be trying to convince yourself. Let your work be awkward. Let it be imperfect. Let it be slow. But let it be real. Because real progress compounds. Talking doesn't compound, action does. Every time you choose action over explanation, you build self-respect. Every time you choose execution over expression, you build trust with yourself. And self-trust is powerful. It makes you confident without being loud. It makes you calm without being passive. It makes you dangerous in the best way, focused, disciplined, unstoppable. You don't need to look successful. You need to become successful. And become requires sweat, patience, and repetition, not hype, not announcements, not approval. Silence is not inactivity. Silence is preparation. Silence is work. Silence is growth happening underground before it breaks the surface. Just like seeds don't make noise while growing, real transformation doesn't announce itself. If you truly want your goal, stop talking about them and start building toward them. Let people wonder. Let people wonder. Let them doubt. Let them be surprised. Because nothing is more powerful than quiet consistency followed by undeniable results. The loudest statement you can make is progress. The strongest argument is improvement. The most convincing proof is execution. And when your actions finally catch up to your words, you won't need to say anything at all. Let me speak to you today in a way that may hit hard, because this is not about comfort. This is about truth. And the truth is, the reason most people are not achieving their goals is not because the world is against them, or because they lack talent, or even because they're unlucky. The truth is much simpler and much more powerful. They have not suffered enough yet. They haven't felt enough pain, enough loss, enough hunger, enough pressure to ignite the kind of fire that makes them unstoppable. You see, suffering is a teacher, and it's a strict one. It doesn't ask permission. It doesn't sugarcoat its lessons. It hits you when you're unprepared. It hits you when you're comfortable. It hits you when you're lazy. And for those who refuse to listen, it's over and over again until the lesson is learned. Most people run from suffering. They avoid it, distract themselves from it, numb it, ignore it. But suffering is the thing that shapes champions, that forces you to dig deeper than you ever thought possible, that forces you to discover strength you didn't even know you had. Think about it. Look at anyone you admire. Look at anyone who has achieved greatness. Their journey was not smooth. Their path was not easy. Their comfort zone was never preserved. Every success story you see is built on a foundation of struggle. Every breakthrough was preceded by a period of pain so intense, so demanding that it broke their old self and forced them to become someone new. And that's the point most people miss. They are waiting for life to get easy before they stop moving. And life will never get easy. The pressure, the struggle, the suffering, that is the process. And until you embrace it, you will never transform. Suffering teaches clarity. When everything is easy, when everything is convenient, when everything is comfortable, you are distracted. You have the luxury of excuses. You have the ability to procrastinate. You have the freedom to settle. But when life gets hard, when the pressure is high, when the consequences of failure are real, suddenly everything becomes clear. Suddenly you see what truly matters. Suddenly you see who is serious and who is not. Suddenly you understand that half-hearted effort is not an option. Suffering exposes the truth. Pain creates priority. When life hurts, when things fall apart, when the stakes are high, suddenly you stop wasting time on trivial things. You stop arguing over small disagreements. You stop caring about approval from people who don't matter. You stop tolerating nonsense. Pain forces you to focus. Pain forces you to act. Pain forces you to become ruthless with your time, with your energy, with your commitment. And until that level of urgency is present, until life pushes you to the edge, most people remain content with mediocrity disguised as busyness. Pressure shapes character. You see, when there's no pressure, you can maintain a persona. You can coast along. You can pretend to be more disciplined or more capable than you actually are. But when the pressure hits, when the deadlines are real, when the stakes are high, when people are counting on you, suddenly your true character shows up. And if you haven't suffered, if you haven't been forced to operate under extreme pressure, you don't yet know what you're made of. You think you can handle stress, but stress doesn't reveal itself in calm moments. It reveals itself in storms. And only by surviving those storms do you become someone who can achieve extraordinary goals. Most people avoid suffering. They choose comfort. They choose ease. They choose convenience. And every time they do, they delay their transformation. They delay the version of themselves that their goals require. They delay the fire, the hunger, the relentless pursuit of excellence that is born from struggle. You can't skip this process. You can't negotiate with it. You can't sugarcoat it. You must embrace it, endure it, and learn from it, because suffering, when accepted, becomes fuel. Suffering teaches resilience. Every setback, every failure, every disappointment, every loss, every heartbreak, every moment of exhaustion is a lesson in resilience. It is a test to see if you will bend or break, if you will give up or get up. And let me tell you, if you have never faced a moment where quitting seemed like the only option, you have never truly tested your limits. And if you have never tested your limits, you do not yet know how strong you are. Resilience is built in the furnace of adversity, not in the comfort of complacency. Pain forces growth. Growth is uncomfortable. Growth is demanding. Growth requires stretching beyond what feels safe, beyond what feels easy. And suffering is what makes that stretch inevitable. If everything is smooth, you never have to grow. If life is easy, you never have to develop grit. If there is no struggle, there is no evolution. That's why people who seek comfort all the time, who avoid hardship, who dodge responsibility, they remain small. They remain average. They remain distant from their potential because growth is always on the other side of suffering. Let's talk about hunger. Hunger is a powerful motivator, but I'm not talking about physical hunger. I'm talking about hunger for success, for purpose, for life itself. Hunger is born from lacking, from wanting more than what you had. Hunger comes from dissatisfaction with the status quo. Hunger comes from a deep, burning desire that won't be ignored. And hunger is often ignited by suffering. When life knocks you down, when resources are limited, when obstacles feel insurmountable, that's when hunger awakens. Hunger makes you do what comfort cannot. Hunger makes you push further, work harder, endure longer, sacrifice more, refuse to quit. Hunger changes the way you think, the way you act, the way you operate. And if you have never been hungry, if you have never felt the kind of need that won't take no for an answer, then you are not yet ready for greatness. Suffering teaches patience. I know this might sound strange because suffering often feels urgent, overwhelming, and painful. But in reality, enduring suffering builds patience. It teaches you to navigate discomfort without losing focus. It teaches you to persist when the results are delayed. It teaches you to keep showing up when the reward is invisible. People who avoid struggle want everything instantly. They want success, recognition, and validation now. But those who have suffered understand that transformation is a process. They understand that excellence is not instantaneous. It is forged over time through persistence and endurance. Suffering also teaches humility. There is a lesson in every failure, every setback, every time life refuses to give you what you think you deserve. Humility doesn't mean weakness. It means awareness. It means understanding your limitation. It means recognizing that you are not entitled to results. It means acknowledging that the path to achievement is paved with obstacles and challenges that you must overcome. Humility keeps you teachable. Humility keeps you focused. Humility keeps you from arrogance, which is often the enemy of sustained success. And let's not forget, suffering teaches empathy. When you've walked through struggle, when you've endured pain, when you've been forced to fight for every inch, you begin to understand others. You develop compassion for those who are struggling because you know what it feels like to be in that place. You become someone who can lead, someone who can inspire, someone who can teach because you've lived the lessons firsthand. Suffering transforms not only your strength and skills, but your character and your heart. Now let's get personal. Ask yourself, have you truly suffered for your goals yet? Have you sacrificed enough? Have you been pushed to the edge, forced to confront your fears, forced to endure rejection, forced to fight when it was easier to quit? If not, then you are still in the early chapters of your story. You are still in the comfort zone. You are still waiting for life to demand more of you. And until that demand comes, or until you create it yourself, your goals will remain just out of reach. Here's the brutal truth. Some people never get there because they run from suffering. They want the rewards without the struggle. They want the glory without the grind. They want the results without the lessons. And life doesn't work that way. Every person who has achieved greatness has suffered. Every champion has endured. Every leader has been tested. And the only reason they succeeded is because they allowed suffering to shape them, not break them. If you want to reach your goals, you have to embrace the hard days. You have to welcome the struggle. You have to be willing to endure discomfort, fatigue, rejection, and failure. You have to push when your body says stop. You have to persist when your mind says quit. You have to rise when the world keeps knocking you down. And you have to do it over and over again until persistence becomes habit and endurance becomes second nature. You have to understand that suffering is not your enemy. It is your ally. It is the tool that will forge your resilience, your strength, your discipline, and your character. It is the catalyst that will awaken your hunger, sharpen your focus, and ignite your fire. The question is, are you willing to face it, to learn from it, to let it transform you? Or will you run and settle for mediocrity? Most people avoid suffering because they are afraid of discomfort. They are afraid of the pain. They are afraid of failure. But the reality is, comfort is the greatest enemy of progress. Comfort kills dreams quietly, slowly, and completely. Comfort lulls you into inaction. Comfort convinces you that you're doing enough when you're not. Comfort delays your destiny while you make excuses and wait for the perfect moment that never comes. The people who achieve their goals understand that the real growth comes from embracing discomfort, from leaning into struggle, from enduring when it hurts most. They understand that suffering is not a punishment, it is preparation. Every challenge, every obstacle, every setback is an opportunity to grow stronger, smarter, and more capable. Every moment of pain is a chance to refine your discipline, sharpen your focus, and fortify your resolve. So stop waiting for life to be easy. Stop hoping for circumstances to align perfectly. Stop wishing for a smooth path. That path doesn't exist. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you will begin to move. The sooner you embrace suffering as your teacher, the sooner you will become unstoppable. Because pain, struggle, and pressure are not the enemies. They are the tools that will shape you into the person capable of achieving your dreams. You want your goals? Then suffer. You want growth? Then endure. You want transformation? Then embrace pressure. You want success? Then stop running from the hard days, the tough moments, the obstacles, and the challenges. Let them push you, teach you, strengthen you, and drive you to a level of excellence that comfort could never produce. When you suffer enough, when you are willing to endure enough, when you are ready to let the fire inside you burn hotter than the fear around you, then you will find a strength you never knew you had. You will discover a focus that cannot be broken. You will develop a persistence that refuses to quit. And you will finally reach the goals that have always been waiting for the version of you that was willing to fight for them. Suffering is not optional for those who want greatness. It is required. It is inevitable. It is the pressure that shapes diamonds. It is the weight that builds muscle. It is the struggle that forges champions. And until you face it head on, embrace it fully, and let it transform you completely, you will remain just another person wishing for results without paying the price. The real reason you are not reaching your goals is simple. You have not suffered enough yet. You have not felt enough discomfort, enough pressure, enough urgency, enough hunger to push yourself beyond your limits. You have not let life demand everything from you and refused to quit. You have not allowed struggle to shape your strength, your discipline, and your character. And until you do, your goals will remain just outside your grasp, waiting for the version of you that is ready to endure, to persist, and to conquer. So today, make the choice. Choose to face the pain. Choose to endure the struggle. Choose to let suffering become the teacher that will mold you into a person capable of achieving the extraordinary. Because nothing worth having comes without struggle, and nothing worth achieving is possible without suffering. Your goals are waiting. Your goals are waiting. The fire is waiting. The transformation is waiting. And the only thing standing between you and greatness is your willingness to suffer, to endure, and to rise above every challenge until you become the person who can achieve them. This is the reality. This is the truth. And once you accept it, once you embrace it, nothing and no one will be able to stop you. Let's get real for a moment, because I need you to hear something that might be uncomfortable, but it's absolutely necessary if you want to reach your goals. Most people fail not because they are incapable, not because they lack talent, and not because life is unfair, but because they misunderstand the power of responsibility. They keep blaming circumstances, other people, or lack of opportunity. They keep pointing fingers instead of looking in the mirror. And until you take full ownership of your life, your goals will stay just out of reach. Responsibility is not a burden. It is power. It is the ultimate tool for transformation. When you accept responsibility for your life, you stop being a victim. You stop waiting for someone else to fix things, to give you permission, or to hand you success. Responsibility is about saying, I am in control of my outcome. I am in charge of my actions. I'm accountable for my results. And once you adopt that mindset, your entire perspective shifts. Think about it for a second. Every time something goes wrong in your life, it's easy to find an external reason. You say, I didn't get the promotion because my boss doesn't like me. Or, I can't start my business because the economy is bad. Or, well, I can't lose weight because I don't have time. These statements may feel valid, but they are excuses, not explanations. Excuses give your power away. They hand control to circumstances. And when you do that, you are guaranteeing that change will be slow, inconsistent, or non-existent. Responsibility, on the other hand, is empowering. It tells you that no matter what has happened in your past, no matter who has tried to hold you back, no matter how unfair life may seem, the only person who can create the results you want is you. Your actions, your mindset, your discipline, and your persistence. These are the only things that determine your success. The moment you internalize this, you stop looking for shortcuts and start looking for solutions. Let me break this down even further. Responsibility is not about blame. It's about ownership. Blame says, it's not my fault. Ownership says, it's my job to make it work. There's a huge difference between the two. Blame keeps you stuck. Ownership propels you forward. Blame is external. Ownership is internal. And here's the truth. People who consistently achieve their goals are people who refuse to blame and refuse to complain. They take ownership and they act relentlessly until the results appear. The danger is that most people confuse responsibility with punishment. They think taking ownership is admitting weakness. They think it's a sign of guilt. But responsibility is freedom. It's the key that unlocks your potential. It allows you to control your life instead of being controlled by it. And until you embrace it fully, you will keep searching for answers outside yourself, and your goals will remain a distant dream. Look at your daily choices. Who do you allow to control your energy, your time, and your focus? Is it circumstances, other people, or random events? Or is it you? The people who reach their goals understand that responsibility means never handing over control. It means deciding how you will respond to every challenge, how you will act in every situation, and how you will manage your time, your resources, and your mindset. Responsibility is proactive, not reactive. It's about leading your life instead of being led by it. Let's get honest here. Most people don't want responsibility. It's uncomfortable. It requires self-reflection. It demands accountability. It forces you to confront the truth about where you've been, what you've done, and what you haven't done. Most people would rather be victims. They would rather blame, complain, and justify than admit, adjust, and act. But victims never achieve their goals. Victims wait for change. Owners create change. When you accept responsibility, you stop negotiating with yourself. You stop making excuses for why you haven't started, why you haven't followed through, why results haven't come yet. You stop waiting for motivation, permission, or ideal condition. You start acting consistently because you know that the outcome is yours and yours alone. Responsibility removes ambiguity. It removes doubt. It forces clarity. Here's the hard truth. Your results are a direct reflection of the level of responsibility you are willing to take. If you blame others, delay action, and avoid accountability, your results will be limited. If you take ownership, act relentlessly, and refuse to make excuses, your results will expand beyond what you imagine. The math is simple. Life rewards action and punishes inaction. Life rewards ownership and punishes avoidance. Life rewards discipline and punishes excuses. Responsibility also requires courage. It's easy to blame. It's easy to justify. It's easy to complain. But it takes courage to look in the mirror and say, I am accountable for everything in my life, and I will do whatever it takes to reach my goals. Courage is saying, no matter how hard it is, no matter how many setbacks I face, I will not give up. I will own my decisions, my actions, and my results. And that courage becomes a habit over time, a habit that creates unstoppable momentum. Accountability is a key part of responsibility. You must hold yourself accountable every day in every action and in every decision. Ask yourself a hard question. Did I do what I said I would do today? Did I push past my comfort zone? Did I act like the person capable of achieving these goals? Did I give my full effort? Effort didn't allow distractions, excuses, or fear to slow me down. The answers to these questions define your progress more than your intentions ever could. Most people avoid accountability because it exposes them. It forces honesty. It forces self-reflection. But this is where growth happens. The moment you stop hiding from the truth about your own actions and start accepting responsibility for them, you gain power. You gain control. You gain control. You gain clarity. And you gain the ability to change your trajectory, because once you know the truth, you can act on it. Responsibility also demands discipline. It demands that you consistently do what needs to be done, even when it's hard, inconvenient, or uncomfortable. It demands that you follow through on promises to yourself. It demands that you refuse to compromise on standards that lead to results. And the more responsibility you take, the more disciplined you become, because you understand that success is not an option. It is a requirement of the life you are committed to create. Here's a reality check. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you the life you want. No one is going to force you to act. And if you are waiting for that, you will be waiting forever. Responsibility is about standing up and saying, hey, I will create my life. I will do the work. I will take ownership, no matter what it costs, no matter how uncomfortable it feels, no matter how long it takes. And when you make that choice, the universe responds, because action breeds opportunity, focus, and results. Strengthens your mindset. When you stop blaming and start owning, you stop feeling helpless. You stop waiting for things to happen and start making things happen. You stop reacting to life and start designing it. Responsibility trains your brain to see solutions instead of problems. It trains your spirit to persist instead of giving up. It trains your character to become resilient instead of weak. The moment you embrace responsibility fully, everything changes. Your failures no longer define you. They inform you. Your setbacks no longer discourage you. They teach you. Your mistakes no longer shame you. They guide you. And your goals, which may have once felt impossible, suddenly start feeling inevitable. Because you understand that the only variable in your success is you. And you have chosen to be relentless. Responsibility also builds confidence, but not in the way most people think. Most people confuse confidence with luck, talent, or external validation. True confidence comes from knowing you can handle whatever life throws at you. True confidence comes from knowing that no matter the obstacle, you will find a way to act, to adjust, and to overcome. Responsibility gives you that confidence because it teaches you that you are capable, that your actions matter, and that you are in control of your results. Here's the reality. No goal is too big. No dream is too ambitious. And no challenge is too great for the person willing to take full responsibility. The difference between those who achieve and those who fail is not luck, talent, or timing. It's ownership. The achievers take the hit, embrace the pressure, and refuse to let excuses dictate their lives. They accept responsibility for everything, from their mindset to their actions to their results. And in doing so, they create a life of purpose, growth, and success. It won't be easy. Responsibility is demanding. It requires honesty, discipline, and courage. It requires that you stop blaming, stop explaining, stop negotiating, and stop waiting. It requires that you fully commit to the idea that your life is your responsibility and that you alone have the power to shape it. And once you accept that, once you embrace it, there is no limit to what you can achieve. So today, take ownership. Take responsibility for your actions, your results, and your life. Stop blaming. Stop complaining. Stop hoping for someone else to intervene. Stand up, look in the mirror, and say, I am accountable, I am committed, I am capable, and I will do whatever it takes to reach my goals. Because when you make that choice, when you fully embrace responsibility, your goals move from being distant dreams to inevitable count. Responsibility is not punishment. It is liberation. It is not a burden. It is power. And the moment you claim it, the moment you refuse to hand over control to circumstances, to people, or to excuses, that's the moment your life changes forever. Your goals are waiting. Your potential is waiting. Your future is waiting. And the only thing standing in the way is your willingness to accept responsibility and act relentlessly. This is the truth. This is the reality. And once you embrace it, nothing and no one can stop you. Let's talk about something most people avoid because it's uncomfortable, but it's absolutely necessary if you want to reach your goals. Consistency. The real reason you are not achieving your goals is that you underestimate the power of showing up every single day, no matter how you feel, no matter the obstacles, no matter the circumstances. Consistency is not glamorous. It's not flashy. It doesn't give you instant gratification, but it is the foundation of every achievement, the secret behind every success story, and the defining factor between those who reach their goals and those who remain stuck chasing them. Most people think success is a result of talent, luck, or extraordinary effort in short bursts. They believe that one big push, one perfect opportunity, or one moment of inspiration will carry them to the finish line. And that's exactly why so many people fail. Life doesn't work in bursts. It works in habits. It works in repetition. It works in showing up even when it's boring, inconvenient, or uncomfortable. Consistency compounds. Inconsistent effort dissipates. That's the difference between mediocrity and mastery. Let me break this down. Consistency is not about intensity alone. It's not about giving 100% once and disappearing. It's about giving effort day, week after week, month after month, until your actions create unstoppable momentum. The problem is that most people think effort counts only when it's dramatic. They wait for motivation, inspiration, or the right mood to appear. But consistency is about showing up even when motivation is absent, even when inspiration is weak, even when even when the mood is off. That's the real work. Think about habits. Habits are the building blocks of your results. And habits are not formed by luck. They are formed by consistency. When you commit to a schedule, a routine, and a level of effort that doesn't waver, habits are created. Habits automate success. Habits make achievement inevitable. And when you fail to be consistent, your habits are weak, your routines crumble, and your progress evaporates. Here's a truth most people overlook. Showing up matters more than being perfect. You will make mistakes. You will stumble. You will have setbacks. That is guaranteed. But consistent effort allows you to recover, adapt, and continue moving forward. Perfectionism, on the other hand, delays action, creates excuses, and destroys momentum. Consistency doesn't require perfection. It requires commitment. It requires persistence. It requires a refusal to give up, no matter how small the daily steps may seem. The most successful people in the world understand it. They understand that greatness is not the result of extraordinary effort in a single day. It is the result of ordinary effort executed consistently over an extended period of time. Michael Jordan didn't become a legend by practicing 1 week before a big game. Warren Buffett did become the oracle of Omaha by making a few smart investments and then stopping. Oprah Winfrey didn't build her empire with one speech or one opportunity. They built their results brick by brick, day by day, with relentless consistency. Consistency also creates trust. Trust in yourself and trust from others. When you show up every day, you build confidence in your own abilities. You prove to yourself that you are reliable, disciplined, and capable of following through. And people notice. Colleagues, mentors, clients, and audience start to believe in you because your actions are predictable and dependable. Consistency builds credibility, which opens doors that talent alone cannot. The danger of inconsistency is subtle but powerful. Inconsistency creates doubt. It erodes confidence. It confuses your mind. When you start and stop, when you show up and then disappear, your brain receives conflicting messages. It begins to question your own commitment. It begins to rationalize excuses. And soon, what started as a goal becomes just a wish. Inconsistency slowly kills progress. Consistency is also about resilience. Life will always throw obstacles in your way. You will encounter setbacks, distractions, fatigue, and moments of doubt. If you rely solely on motivation, you will stop every time the challenge appears. If you rely solely on inspiration, you will pause whenever the mood fades. But if you commit to consistency, you continue regardless. You push through the pain. You persist through uncertainty. You endure through adversity. And that endurance is what separates achievers from dreamers. Let's get specific. To be consistent, you must define your non-negotiables. Decide what actions are essential to reaching your goal and commit to doing them every day without exception. It could be practicing your craft, exercising, reading, writing, networking, learning, or any activity that moves you closer to your objective. Whatever it is, make it non-negotiable. This removes ambiguity and excuses. You don't debate whether to act, you simply act because the commitment is clear and unwavering. Consistency requires accountability. Most people fail to be consistent because they lack a system of accountability. They rely solely on willpower, which fluctuates and fails when stress, fatigue, or distraction appears. Accountability systems, whether through a mentor, a coach, a partner, or even a personal tracking system, ensure that you continue showing up. They create pressure to act when your internal motivation is low, and they reinforce the habit of persistence that consistency depends on. Another factor, time management. Consistency requires that you prioritize your actions over convenience, pleasure, or distraction. Every day is a decision. You can choose to scroll, to procrastinate, or to indulge, or you can choose to act on what matters most. Those daily choices compound over months and years. Showing up consistently requires sacrifice. It requires saying no to what is easy and yes to what is necessary. It requires discipline, focus, and foresight. You also need to embrace incremental progress. Consistency is not about instant transformation. It's about small improvements over time. Every day you show up, you add a little more skill, a little more skill, a little more experience, a little more understanding. And these small increments, compounded over months and years, create extraordinary results. Consistency teaches patience. It teaches the value of long-term thinking. It teaches that the sum of small actions executed faithfully is far more powerful than sporadic bursts of effort. Let me warn you, consistency is tested more in the mundane than in the dramatic. It is easy to be consistent when you are excited, motivated, or inspired. It is difficult to be consistent when it's boring, repetitive, or challenging. And that is where champions are made. The ability to maintain action when it feels uncomfortable, unproductive, or thankless is the ultimate differentiator. Consistency also builds momentum. Momentum is a powerful force that makes action easier and more natural over time. The more consistently you act, the stronger the momentum becomes. And once momentum is established, it propels you forward, even when motivation is low or obstacles arise. Momentum turns persistence into a habit, and habit turns effort into results. That's the hidden power of consistency. It eventually makes success feel inevitable. Another critical point. Consistency teaches resilience against failure. The world will not always go your way. You will face rejection, criticism, setbacks, and mistakes. But when you are consistent, these challenges do not stop you. They refine you. Each failure becomes a lesson. Each mistake becomes feedback. Each obstacle becomes an opportunity to adapt. Consistency turns adversity into advantage. It allows you to learn faster, improve faster, and keep moving forward no matter what happens. Your mindset is shaped by consistency. Every day you show up, you reinforce belief in yourself. You tell yourself, I can do this. I'm capable. Every day you skip, you reinforce doubt. You tell yourself, I'm not ready. I'm not strong enough. I'll try again later. Over time, consistent action builds confidence, courage, and resilience, while inconsistency breeds hesitation, fear, and self-doubt. Your habits shape your identity, and consistency is the bridge between intention and identity. Consistency also requires adaptability. Life is unpredictable, and obstacles will appear. But consistency with intelligence is showing up every day, but also learning, adjusting, and refining your approach when necessary. It's about being flexible in methods, but unwavering in commitment. That combination is what produces sustainable success. You must also understand that consistency compounds results exponentially. One day of action may seem insignificant. One week may seem trivial. But over months and years, these actions build layers of experience, skill, and momentum that cannot be replicated by sudden bursts of effort. That's why people often underestimate the power of consistency. They focus on immediate results rather than long-term accumulation. But time rewards those who show up faithfully. Finally, consistency is about identity. When you show up every day, you begin to see yourself as someone who follows through. You begin to internalize the belief that you are reliable, disciplined, and capable. Your actions shape your self-perception, which in turn shapes your behavior. When consistency becomes part of your identity, it no longer feels like effort. It becomes who you are. And identity is the ultimate driver of sustainable achievement. So ask yourself, are you showing up every day even when it's hard? Are you maintaining habits that move you closer to your goals, even when progress is slow? Are you refusing to quit when the results are invisible? Because consistency is the secret that separates those who achieve from those who merely dream. Consistency is not optional. Consistency is not negotiable. Consistency is the path. Every day you choose to act, you build momentum. Every day you choose to persist, you strengthen your resolve. Every day you choose to continue, you reinforce your identity. And over time, those daily decisions accumulate into extraordinary results. Your goals will not wait. Your dreams will not chase you. The only way to reach them is to show up consistently, relentlessly, every single day. If you want to succeed, you must embrace consistency. You must commit to showing up regardless of mood, energy, or circumstance. You must prioritize action over comfort, effort over ease, and persistence over procrastination. You must understand that small, repeated actions create monumental results. And you must accept that the path to your goals is a journey of unwavering commitment, incremental progress, and daily discipline. The real reason you are not reaching your goals is simple. You are inconsistent. You show up when it's convenient and you disappear when it's uncomfortable. You rely on motivation rather than commitment. You allow excuses to dictate your actions. And until you break that cycle and embrace consistency fully, your goals will remain distant. Your dreams will remain unfulfilled and your potential will remain untapped. Consistency is your secret weapon. It is your greatest ally. It is the invisible force that over time will transform your actions into results, your habits into identity, and your persistence into achievement. The question is, are you willing to commit, to endure, and to show up every single day until your goals are no longer a possibility but a reality? Because the choice is yours. Consistency or compromise, persistence or procrastination, action or excuses. And the life you want is waiting on the other side of that decision. Let's be brutally honest, because this is the part most people don't want to hear. The real reason you are not reaching your goals is that you are scared of being uncomfortable. You are terrified of stepping outside your comfort zone, and until you embrace discomfort as a tool rather than an obstacle, your dreams will continue to evade you. Comfort is seductive. It whispers in your ear that it's okay to delay, to settle, to wait for a better moment. But comfort is a silent killer of potential, and the moment you prioritize it over growth, you guarantee that your goals remain out of reach. They did things that were hard, awkward, inconvenient, and even painful because they understood that discomfort is not the enemy. It is the vehicle for transformation. You cannot grow without it. You cannot push boundaries without it. You cannot reach your goals without it. And yet most people avoid it at all costs, waiting for life to feel easier before taking action. That day will never come. The problem is that discomfort triggers fear, and fear is the ultimate sabotage. Fear tells you to wait, to quit, to avoid, to stay safe. Fear makes you rationalize inaction. It convinces you that now is not the right time, that you are not ready, that the opportunity will return later. And the cruel truth is, fear is lying. The moment will never be perfect. You will never feel completely ready. And every time you let fear dictate your decisions, your goals move further away. Let's talk about what discomfort really means. It is more than physical strain or financial risk. It is emotional strain. It is mental strain. It is the tension you feel when you are challenged beyond what feels safe, when your skills are stretched, when your limits are tested. It is the feeling that you are in unfamiliar territory. And it is exactly in that territory that growth happens. You cannot expand inside the comfort zone. Comfort maintains the status quo. Discomfort disrupts it. And disruption is necessary for progress. Most people confuse discomfort with suffering. They think being uncomfortable is bad, wrong, or unnecessary. But here's the reality. Discomfort is the tool. Suffering is the consequence of avoiding it. When you refuse to lean into challenge, when you avoid the hard conversations, the tough work, the risks that matter, you suffer later. You suffer through regret, missed opportunities, unfulfilled potential, and the bitter taste of what could have been. Discomfort in the present is far easier than suffering in the future. Think about any significant achievement in history. Think about every innovation, every breakthrough, every personal transformation. It did not happen inside comfort zones. It happened when someone was willing to feel awkward, to fail publicly, to face criticism, to stretch beyond their perceived limits. Discomfort is the crucible that forges skill, resilience, and courage. It is the laboratory where your potential is tested and refined. And if you refuse to enter that laboratory, your potential remains untested, unrealized, and dormant. Discomfort teaches resilience. When you repeatedly put yourself in situations that challenge you, that make you uneasy, that force you to adapt, you build mental toughness. You develop the ability to persist when others quit. You learn to endure when results are delayed. You discover that the obstacles you fear are not insurmountable. They are opportunities to prove your strength. And this resilience is what separates those who achieve their goals from those who give up halfway. Here's the hard truth. You will never feel ready. You will never feel completely capable. You will never have perfect conditions. Waiting for comfort is a trap. If you wait for certainty, you will wait forever. The people who reach their goals start before they are ready. They act in uncertainty. They move in discomfort. They embrace the tension of growth, knowing that mastery and confidence come through action, not preparation. Discomfort also exposes weaknesses that need attention. When life feels easy, it masks gaps in skill, knowledge, and discipline. When you challenge yourself, when you push beyond what is familiar, your weaknesses are revealed. This is not to discourage you. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity. Awareness of weaknesses is the first step toward improvement. Comfort hides them, but discomfort exposes them so you can address them. Growth requires awareness, and awareness requires discomfort. Consistency and discomfort go hand in hand. You can be consistent comfort, but it will only maintain mediocrity. To achieve extraordinary results, you must consistently act in discomfort. This means showing up to do the hard work every day, even when it's inconvenient, awkward, or unpleasant. It means facing rejection, criticism, and failure repeatedly. It means doing the things others avoid. And over time, this consistent discomfort compounds into mastery, confidence, and results. Discomfort also teaches courage. Every time you act despite fear, every time you take a step into the unknown, every time you challenge yourself, you build courage. And courage is not a natural trait. It is a skill developed through repeated exposure to fear and unease. The more you act in discomfort, the less fear controls you. The more you act despite discomfort, the stronger and more confident you become. And the stronger and more confident you become, the closer you move to your goals. Another essential point is that discomfort expands your limits. You think you know what you are capable of, but the truth is you are capable of far more than you imagine. Comfort constrains you. It keeps you within a narrow range of thought, skill, and action. Discomfort stretches you. It forces you to solve problems, adapt strategies, and push boundaries. And when you repeatedly operate outside your comfort zone grows once. What once felt impossible becomes manageable. What once felt intimidating becomes routine. Discomfort is the mechanism of expansion. Discomfort also develops patience. Growth, transformation, and results do not happen instantly. Discomfort teaches you to endure, to persist, and to continue taking action even when the payoff is not immediate. It shows you that progress is a process, and it requires dedication over the long term. Those who seek comfort are often impatient, looking for shortcuts and quick wins, while those who embrace discomfort understand that real achievement requires time, effort, and endurance. Let's discuss the fear of judgment, because this is one of the biggest barriers to reaching your goals. Discomfort often comes with the possibility of being judged, criticized, or misunderstood. Most people avoid action because they are afraid of what others will think. But here's the truth. The world will always have opinions, and those opinions are irrelevant to your potential. The people who succeed learn to act despite judgment. They understand that temporary discomfort caused by criticism is far less costly than the lifelong regret of inaction. Discomfort also strengthens focus. When you operate outside your comfort zone, distractions become more obvious, and you are forced to prioritize. You learn to say no to what is easy and yes to what is necessary. You learn to act with intentionality. You learn to invest your energy where it matters most. Comfort allows procrastination. Discomfort demands clarity and decisive action. And clarity and action are the cornerstones of progress. Failure is a form of discomfort, and it is necessary. Most people avoid failure at all costs. But failure is a teacher disguised as pain. Every failure exposes gaps, challenges assumptions, and forces you to adapt. When you embrace failure, you embrace learning, growth, and resilience. When you fear failure and avoid discomfort, you stagnate. The people who reach their goals are those who view failure as feedback, as a stepping stone, and as an essential part of the journey. Discomfort also builds humility. When you step into situations that challenge you, when you face tasks that exceed your current capabilities, you realize how much you still have to learn. This humility is not weakness. It is an awareness that drives improvement. Those who remain comfortable never encounter this reality, and as a result, they stagnate, while those who embrace discomfort continuously evolve. Another key aspect is that discomfort builds adaptability. Life is unpredictable. Goals often require navigating uncertainty, change, and unexpected obstacles. By regularly operating outside your comfort zone, you develop the ability to adapt quickly and effectively. You become resourceful. You become resilient. You learn to pivot, adjust strategies, and continue moving forward regardless of circumstances. Comfort breeds rigidity. Discomfort breeds flexibility. Discomfort also strengthens character. Every challenge, every fear, every awkward or difficult situation you endure builds integrity, perseverance, and mental toughness. It forms the foundation of the person capable of achieving extraordinary goals. Without discomfort, character remains untested. And without tested character, success is fleeting or impossible. Those who embrace discomfort understand that the struggle shapes the person first and the results follow. Ultimately, your willingness to feel uncomfortable is the ultimate differentiator. Two people can have the same talent, knowledge, and resources, but the one who is willing to endure discomfort consistently will always outperform the one who avoids it. Talent without discomfort is wasted potential. Knowledge without discomfort is theoretical. Resources without discomfort are ineffective. Discomfort is the multiplier that turns effort into results. So here's the question. Are you willing to lean into discomfort? Are you willing to take steps that feel awkward, risky, or inconvenient every day? Are you willing to endure criticism, failure, and doubt to achieve what most people only dream of? Because until you do, your goals will remain outside your grasp. Until you embrace discomfort, you will remain constrained by your fear, your hesitation, and your need for comfort. The people who achieve their goals are not the ones who wait for life to be easy. They are the ones who walk into the fire, embrace the tension, and persist through adversity. They welcome discomfort as a teacher, a guide, and a catalyst for transformation. They understand that comfort is the enemy of progress, and that discomfort is the doorway to their potential. Your comfort zone is a cage. Your goals are on the other side of it. And the only way to reach them is to walk through the discomfort, to face the fear, to endure the challenges, and to embrace the tension that comes with growth. Every day you choose comfort over action, you delay your success. Every day you lean into discomfort, you accelerate your progress, strengthen your character, and move closer to the life you are capable of achieving. Discomfort is not optional for those who want to achieve anything meaningful. It is inevitable, unavoidable, and necessary. And the sooner you accept this truth, the sooner you will start acting, growing, and achieving at a level most people can't even imagine. Embrace discomfort. Step into the unknown. Take risks. Fail, learn, adapt, persist. And over time, you will realize that the very thing you fear is what made your success inevitable. The real reason you are not reaching your goals is fear disguised as comfort. You are waiting for life to be easier, for the timing to be perfect, for the path to be smooth. But life will never be that way. Growth will never be that easy. Success will never arrive without effort. Your goals will never wait for you to feel ready. The moment is now. The work is uncomfortable. The challenge is necessary. And the only way forward is through discomfort. When you embrace it fully, when you act courageously in the face of fear, when you commit to endure hard days, the awkward moments, and the uncertain path, you become unstoppable. You develop resilience, confidence, skill, and character. You transform not only your results, but yourself. And once you do this consistently, your goals stop being a distant dream. They become an inevitable reality. Discomfort is the price of greatness, the cost of transformation, and the requirement for extraordinary achievement. If you are willing to pay that price, there is nothing that can stop you. If you continue to avoid it, you will continue to fall short. And the difference between those who achieve and those who don't is simple. Willingness to endure what others won't, courage to act when it's hard, and persistence to keep moving when comfort screams for you to stop. Step into the discomfort, lean into the challenge, endure the hard, grow through the tension, and watch as your goals, which once felt impossible, move steadily within your reach. This is the path. This is the truth. And until you embrace it, your potential will remain untapped, and your dreams will remain just that, dreams. The choice is yours. Comfort or growth, ease or progress, fear or action. Your goals are waiting. Your potential is waiting. And your greatness is on the other side of the discomfort you've been avoiding. Walk through it, endure it, embrace it, and nothing will be able to stop you. As we come to the close of this conversation, I want you to truly understand one fundamental truth. The reason you are not reaching your goals is not because of luck, talent, or circumstance. It is because you are holding back. You are holding back from the work that needs to be done. You are holding back from the mindset that needs to be built. You are holding back from the discomfort that must be endured. And until you confront that reality, until you fully embrace it, your goals will continue to feel distant, unattainable, and frustratingly out of reach. It is easy to blame external factors, your job, your environment, your family, or your past experiences, but blaming never creates results. Blame never moves you forward. Blame never makes your dreams real. The moment you hand over control of your life to circumstances, you are ensuring that your success is entirely dependent on forces you cannot control. And that is a losing strategy. The only sustainable, reliable, and unshakable path to achieving your goals comes when you take full responsibility for your life, your decision, and your actions. You cannot outsource your success. You cannot delegate your dreams. They belong to you and you alone. This is why responsibility is your first weapon, your first tool. Until you accept that, nothing else will stick. You must internalize that every action you take or fail to take has consequences. Every decision matters. Every moment you spend avoiding work, rationalizing inaction, or procrastinating is time you will never get back. This is not to instill guilt, it is to awaken clarity. The sooner you recognize that the outcomes in your life are determined primarily by your effort, mindset, and decisions, the sooner you can begin to redirect your energy to the actions that actually produce results. Responsibility is power, and it is non-negotiable if you want to move past stagnation. The second truth is consistency. It is not enough to work sporadically, to be motivated for a week, or to pour your energy into your goals only when you feel like it. Success is a marathon, not a sprint. It is the accumulation of repeated actions, small but deliberate, day after day. The person who shows up when it's inconvenient, who perseveres when the motivation is gone, who works through boredom and fatigue, that's the person who will reach the finish line. Consistency compounds. Repetition builds skill. Daily effort creates momentum. Without it, even the most brilliant ideas, the most talented individuals, and the most favorable circumstances will not yield results. Consistency is the bridge between ambition and achievement. And until you walk that bridge daily, your goals will remain a mirage. This is why habits are so crucial. Your habits determine your identity, your mindset, and your results. They are the invisible architecture that supports the life you build. If your habits are weak, inconsistent, and misaligned with your goals, then no amount of inspiration, external motivation, or opportunity will carry you. Habits are forged in the crucible of repetition, discipline, and deliberate action. If you want to achieve extraordinary results, you must design your daily routines, enforce them rigorously, and refuse to allow excuses, distractions, or comfort to derail you. Habits are the engine of your success, and consistency is the fuel. The third reality is that discomfort is inevitable. If you are waiting for life to feel easy, for your circumstances to be convenient, or for conditions to be ideal, you will be waiting forever. Growth only occurs when you step outside your comfort zone, lean into the tension, and enjoy the challenges that scare you. Discomfort is the mechanism through which potential is unlocked. It is the catalyst for strength, resilience, and courage. Every person who has achieved something extraordinary has walked into discomfort repeatedly and consistently. They have done the things that are hard, awkward, inconvenient, and even terrifying. And through that process, they have transformed themselves, building the skills, mindset, and confidence necessary to achieve what others thought impossible. Discomfort also teaches patience, perseverance, and humility. It reminds you that progress is not linear. It reminds you that mastery requires sustained effort. It reminds you that every failure is a lesson and every challenge is an opportunity. If you avoid discomfort, you will never encounter the experiences that refine your character, sharpen your skills, and deepen your understanding. If you embrace it, you will learn to endure, adapt, and thrive even in situations that once felt unbearable. The road to your goals is paved with discomfort, and the sooner you accept it, the faster you will progress. Another truth is that fear is a powerful but deceptive force. Fear convinces you to wait, to hesitate, to rationalize inaction. It disguises itself as caution, wisdom, or practicality. But fear is lying. Fear is trying to keep you small, to maintain the status quo, to protect you from temporary pain at the cost of permanent regret. You must learn to act despite fear, to move forward even when the path is uncertain, and to commit to your vision even when doubt tries to paralyze you. The people who achieve their goals are not fearless. They are courageous. They understand that fear will always be present, but action in the face of fear is non-negotiable. Courage is forged in discomfort, fueled by consistency and grounded in responsibility. Let us also confront the myth of talent. Talent alone will not carry you. Skill alone will not carry you. Education alone will not carry you. What will carry you is a relentless combination of consistent action, disciplined habits, responsibility, and courage and discomfort. Talent may give you a head start, but it will not sustain you. Opportunity may present itself, but it will not guarantee results. Results are earned in the day-to-day grind, in the repetition of the mundane, in the courage to take one more step when no one is watching, in the refusal to quit when the world says you should. Results are earned by those who understand that achievement is a choice, not a gift. You must also understand the role of accountability in this journey. No one can do it for you, but having structures, systems, and support can accelerate your progress. Accountability partners, mentors, coaches, or even self-tracking systems can keep you honest, ensure you follow through, and prevent you from rationalizing inaction. Accountability is not a crutch, it is leverage. It allows you to measure your commitment, adjust your strategy, and maintain momentum when internal motivation fluctuates. When combined with responsibility and consistency, accountability becomes a catalyst for breakthrough. Another essential element is clarity of vision. Vision. Without a clear understanding of what you want, why you want it, and how you intend to achieve it, effort is wasted. A vague goal is like a ship without a compass, directionless, vulnerable to currents, and destined for delay. You must define your objectives precisely. You must visualize the outcomes with vivid detail. You must understand the sacrifices required, the actions necessary, and the mindset that must be maintained. Clarity transforms effort from random action into strategic progress. Every decision becomes a step in alignment with your vision, and every action compounds toward achievement. Persistence is the final ingredient. You will encounter obstacles. You will face rejection. You will endure failure. But persistence ensures that setbacks become setups, that obstacles become opportunities, and that failures become feedback. The world does not reward talent or ideas alone. It rewards relentless pursuit. It rewards the person who refuses to quit, who rises after every fall, who learns faster, works harder, and adapts smarter than anyone else. Your ability to persist is the bridge between intention and results, between dreams and reality. Without persistence, all the factors are diminished, where even the most difficult goals become attainable. Now imagine what your life would look like if you embrace all of these truths simultaneously. Imagine taking full responsibility for your actions and decisions. Imagine showing up consistently even when motivation is low or circumstances are difficult. Imagine leaning into discomfort, knowing that every challenge is a stepping stone to growth. Imagine acting despite fear, refusing to let hesitation or doubt dictate your path. Imagine building habits that reinforce your identity as a person who follows through. Imagine holding yourself accountable every day. Imagine persisting relentlessly until your goals are no longer distant dreams, but live reality. This is not a hypothetical. This is achievable for you starting today. But you must commit fully. You must refuse to compromise. You must reject excuses. You must stop waiting for ideal conditions, for permission, or for luck. You must start now in the imperfect, messy, challenging conditions that life presents. That is the moment when growth begins, when momentum builds, and when your potential starts transforming to reality. Remember, there's no magic formula, no secret shortcut, no easy way. There is only work, consistent discipline, uncomfortable, courageous work. There is only showing up again and again, doing what must be done, learning, adapting, and pushing past fear. There is only responsibility, accountability, clarity, and persistence. And if you embrace these principles fully, you will be unstoppable. You will break through barriers, surpass expectations, and reach goals you once thought were impossible. So I challenge you, take ownership of your life. Take responsibility for every decision, every action, every outcome. Commit to showing up consistently day after day, even when it is hard. Lean into discomfort, knowing it is the gateway to growth. Act despite fear. Build habits that reinforce your commitment and identity. Hold yourself accountable relentlessly. Clarify your vision with precision. Persist until your results manifest. This is the roadmap. This is the truth. This is the way to finally break through the barriers that have kept you from your goals. Your potential is unlimited, but it will remain untapped if you choose convenience, comfort, and excuses over effort, courage, and consistency. Your dreams are within reach, but they will remain dreams if you fail to persist, and fail to embrace the discomfort necessary to achieve them. The only variable standing between you and your success is you, the choices you make, the actions you take, the habits you build, and the courage you muster. You have everything you need to begin. You have everything you need to succeed. The question is, will you step up and claim it? Or will you let fear, comfort, and hesitation dictate your story? I want you to leave this moment with a commitment to yourself. Decide right now that you will no longer allow excuses to define your life. Decide that you will take ownership, show up consistently, embrace discomfort, act despite fear, and persist relentlessly. Decide that your habit, your mindset, and your actions will align with the life you are capable of creating. And decide that from this moment forward, you will refuse to settle, you will refuse to quit, and you will refuse to let anything or anyone prevent you from reaching your goals. Success is not an accident. It is not random. It is not waiting for you around the corner. It is earned, it is claimed, and is created through relentless effort, disciplined action, courageous decision-making, and unwavering persistence. The moment you accept that, the moment you commit fully, the moment you stop waiting and start doing, your goals stop being a possibility, they become an inevitability. So take this truth with you. The barriers you face are not permanent. The fear you feel is temporary. The discomfort you experience is necessary. The effort you invest is the only currency that guarantees results. Your goals are not out of reach. They are waiting for you to act. Your potential is not untouchable. It is waiting for you to claim it. And your future is not predetermined. It is being written by the choices you make today, this week, this month, and this year. Your life, your results, your destiny, your goals, they are in your hand. Take responsibility, show up consistently, embrace discomfort, act despite fear, build habits. Hold yourself accountable, clarify your vision, persist relentlessly. This is a roadmap. This is the truth. This is the only way to ensure that your dreams do not remain distant, that your potential does not remain unrealized, and that your greatness does not remain untapped. The choice is yours. Nothing will happen until you act. No opportunity will materialize until you create it. No dream will manifest until you relentlessly pursue it. Your success is not an accident. It is a decision. Your breakthrough is not a coincidence. It is a result of action. Your goals are not unreachable. They are waiting for you to show up every single day with responsibility, consistency, courage, and persistence. And when you commit fully, when you refuse to compromise, when you embrace the principles we have discussed today, there is nothing that can stop you. You will face challenges, setbacks, and obstacles, but you will endure. You will encounter fear, doubt, and discomfort, but you will persist. You will encounter failure, criticism, and resistance, but you will rise. And through that journey, you will transform not only your results, but yourself. You will become the person capable of achieving extraordinary things. You will become the person who no longer waits for permission, validation, or perfect condition. You will become the person who creates your life on purpose, who commands your destiny, who defines your success. And when you do that, the goals that once seemed distant will come within reach. The potential that once seemed dormant will awaken, and the life you once imagined will become reality. The truth is simple, but it is profound. Your success, your goals, your life, they are not a matter of chance. They are a matter of choice. They are a matter of commitment. They are a matter of action. And when you make the choice to take responsibility, to show up consistently, to embrace discomfort, to act despite fear, to build habits, to hold yourself accountable, to clarify your vision, and to persist relentlessly, there's nothing that can stand in your way. So I challenge you today, right now, to make that choice. Commit to yourself. Commit to your goals. Commit to your potential. Stop waiting. Stop hesitating. Stop rationalizing. Stop blaming. Stop compromising. Step compromising. Step into responsibility, consistency, discomfort, courage, and persistence. Step into the life you were meant to live. Step into the results you were capable of achieving. Step into the greatness that has been waiting inside you all along. Your goals are not far away. Your potential is not inaccessible. Your breakthrough is not impossible. All that stands between you and the life you want is your willingness to act, to persist, and to refuse to settle. Everything you need is already inside you. The roadmap is clear. The path is ready. The choice is yours. Walk it. Commit to it. And watch as your life transforms into the reality you have been dreaming of. Now is the time. This is the moment. Your goals are waiting. Your potential is waiting. Your greatness is waiting. Do not let fear, comfort, hesitation, or doubt stop you. Step forward. Take ownership. Show up. Endure. Persist. And when you do, nothing, and I mean nothing, will be able to stop you from achieving the life, the results, and the success you have always imagined. The journey starts today, and the victory is yours to claim.